Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Broken Roads with me, Break It Down. Let's explore Southern Cross. This market stall has seen better days, and possibly worse ones. Get a few more years under your belt, we'll talk. Machine parts and radio parts. Some smart aleck has scrawled "this way to enlightenment" with an arrow pointing up. Anthony Hannon, chemist. Scrap and toothbrushes. Gotta work on your tan whenever you get the chance. An opal, useful rags, and a bag of dollars. We can finish exploring the streets before we speak to the NPCs. At least the named ones. The strange structure resonates with barely contained electricity. The closer you get to the control panel, the more your hair stands on end. You swear you can feel the electromagnetic field undulating slowly. Alright, so either it's missing a word or has an extra U there. Undulating slowly as you cast your eyes over the various buttons and switches gleaming in front of you. On one side of the control panel is some kind of heavy metal crank. Alright, this seems a little above our pay grade at the moment. But it looks like it's connected to Prime Lab, which we can enter. So we'll hold off on that for right now. Ideas from before, mummified by droughts both meteorological and intellectual. Either sending a secret signal in Morse code, or you need to spend less time in the sun. Could be a little of column A and a little of column B. Siobhan Yelverton, Applied Physics. That's an Irish name. Welakwara, Theoretical Physics. I wonder if she has a theoretical degree in physics. It's described as someone named Tim, but the last of the known Tims were wiped out in the Great Emu War. That's something that actually happened in Australia. Lance Stevens, historian. I recommend looking it up. It's quite the event. So many scientists, but not a single green thumb in sight. Roll up your sleeves and get to work. Because I'm a jackaroo? Prepare the greenhouse inside Southern Cross completed. I don't think I had that quest to begin with, but I'll take the experience. And these sunflowers. About to head home. All sold out. Actually, a big fan of sunflower seeds. Thanks to the X-Files. It got me hooked. A CD-ROM drive. Hop in the disc and hope the drivers aren't faulty. And an industrial magnet. It can lift more than you. I don't know, I'm pretty strong. Now let's speak to the NPCs now. Starting with Lily Petrovic. This slim, anxious woman is looking at the sky. Her hands move restlessly, touching her dress, her hair, her face. She seems oddly out of phase with the environment around her, almost as if she's moving to a rhythm no one else can hear. These lights. Her voice is the whisper of silk across polished wood. I'm so tired of being blind. She turns and gives you her full attention. The effect is like plunging into an ice-cold pool. Yes? Who are you? My name is Lily. Her voice is musical, lilting. As for who I am, that's what I've come here to discover. Are you a scientist too? Cosmologist. She makes a minute adjustment to her scarf. I study the universe, here and now, past and future. She makes an arcane gesture with her left hand, almost as an afterthought. How did you end up at Southern Cross? A friend recommended I might find some kindred spirits here. She looks at the ground. Wayla's really nice. Maddie can be too. I try not to bother them though. They're both so busy. What do you like about Wayla? A warm smile blooms on her face. She's funny. Not just in the way she acts, though she is a bit. Genuinely funny. Unexpectedly funny. She almost made me pee myself once. I was laughing so hard. Her smile widens at the memory. Good times. You say Maddie can be nice. Is he sometimes not nice? He's sometimes Maddie. She shrugs. Chip on his shoulder the size of Uluru, but deeply passionate about his work and this community. He keeps everything running, even though it means he doesn't get out into the field to perform his own research anymore. The place would fall apart without him. If he's a bit grumpy sometimes, people don't really care. I'd like to see what you have in stock. Projector lens brings the big picture into focus. A handsaw for holding in your hand or sawing one off. I need to buy that. Some barbed wire and a screwdriver. Is that a quest item? It is. Let's buy that too. Bye. Stay safe out there. Alright, Anthony Harris. That name rings a bell. I don't think I knew an Anthony Harris. I've known an Anthony and someone with the last name Harris. Oh, you fixed the greenhouse. Amazing. Thanks. The sandy-haired man looks up at you as you approach, light glinting off his wireframe glasses. He closes the book he was reading, using a finger to mark his place, and reaches out a hand to shake yours. Welcome to Southern Cross. I'm Anthony. If you made it past Maddie's questions, you must be someone worth talking to. He smiles expectantly. I'll shake his hand and introduce yourself. I've never been any good with animals or plants, he confesses. In fact, I'm pretty sure a sheep could kill me by looking at me funny. He brightens. Hey, maybe you could take a look at our greenhouse. I definitely wouldn't say no to having some more fresh veggies around. Anyway, he smiles again and gestures to the neatly kept library behind him. I teach the kids here during the day. You're always welcome to stop by for a chat after hours. If you get on my good side, I may even let you borrow a tome or two. He winks. My mate's got bleeding on the brain. Do you have anything that could help? Some combination of perindopril and mannitol would probably do the trick. He chuckles nervously. But keep in mind I'm a chemist, not a doctor. Let me just look up a few things. Here, I hope it helps. Thank you. You're most welcome. Oh, we didn't have to pay. He gives you a faint smile. Welcome back to our own little contribution to the Foundation. What's your read on Lily? Bird who had her wings clipped before she left the nest. He frowns, looking down at his book. Some people come to the sciences because they want to understand how the world works. And some people come to the sciences because they want to prove the world works a certain way. He looks back up at you. Don't get me wrong. All decent experiments have a hypothesis. What they shouldn't have to bear is the weight of expectations. Do you know much about Maddie? Got these. Started reading this one and then this one. He tilts his head from side to side. He stops by occasionally, but most of what I do has no impact on him and vice versa. I don't dislike him or anything. His words are rushed and oddly impatient, but he's not very easy to get to know either. Whether that's a character flaw is for you to decide for yourself. Where did you get all these books? Here and there. He turns to look fondly at the bulging shelves. It's been a labor of love over the years, I can tell you. I wouldn't be averse to adding to the collection. Pretty much anything. His face darkens. Except explicit books. What does explicit mean? Oh, he blushes bright red. Sex. You know, bodice rippers, they used to be called. Because men were always ripping women's bodices on the covers. What's a bodice? A piece of clothing, emotions around his torso. Kind of like a corset, but rippable, would be my guess. I bet it doesn't even have pockets. Probably not, no. He clears his throat. That's all the questions you have on this particular topic. What are you reading? Ah, he says wistfully, turning his wrist so you can see the cover of the book. Wordsworth. Sounds worthy, and wordy. Not the worst poetry joke I've heard. He smiles faintly. What's that tall, weird metal thing in the middle of town? It's the device. He speaks fondly, like talking about a beloved family pet. Siobhan's design. I helped build it. No idea how it works. But once the Kalgoorlie rep saw it, her eyes almost popped out of her face. It keeps them from bothering us, at least. So we spoke to Measure. He seemed fairly benevolent, but based on what other people have said about Kalgoorlie so far, they might be a hostile entity. He looks at it and smiles. Siobhan told me she based the design on morning glory flowers, because they strangle their competition and she hates Kalgoorlie's politics. He chuckles at some personal joke. Let's trade. Alright, Road Atlas. Most map makers have a copy of this guide to guide them back to familiar roads. Radio parts, scrap, morals, and legislation. Nature has placed mankind under the governance of two sovereign masters, pain and pleasure, page 94. Transformed economics. Production of too many useful things results in too many useless people, page 122. Inventions of Nikola Tesla. We crave for new sensations, but soon become indifferent to them. The wonders of yesterday are today common occurrences, page 44. General theory of John M. Keynes. The difficulty lies not in the new ideas, but in escaping from the old ones, page 3. Alright, bye. Have a good one. Alright, can we ask Lily about Anthony now? Not yet. Oh, Maddie. Good to see you. Gives you a friendly nod. Why do you need the device to keep Kalgoorlie away? Bunch of mad dogs, trying to make everyone look and think like them. He scowls. I don't like people who try to tell me what to do. I have to scrimp and save for every moment I get to spend doing actual research. But I'll take scraps out here, over a feast inside their walls, any day of the week. Interesting. Alright, so we can't... that. You can see the shadow of an oiled gun barrel and the glint of watchful eyes. Looks like the ridiculous quiz isn't the only deterrent they employ. Good to know. Let me start going inside buildings now. We couldn't go inside this one, right? Or that one. Let's start up here. And Siobhan was the one that created this. We can go talk to her about it. The Weast Lab. Inert, nonetheless retains some of the menace implicit in its larger cousin. Thing outside. Honeygold lamplight, great for romance, terrible for close reading. Small first aid kit, a stack of dollars, and a green thermal vest. Stay warm on those freezing desert nights, grants +1 strength. We'll give that to Mad. Iodine, and another copy of Inventions of Nikola Tesla. It's all gobbledygook as far as you can tell. Impressive butt. I haven't heard other people speak like that. I end a lot of sentences in butt myself. I realized that was a Australian thing. This elegant woman paces her workshop, periodically checking an object strapped to her wrist. She nods when she sees you, then continues pacing. Finally, she says, 1,000, and stops in front of you. You'll wear a rut in the floor, you keep that up. A static mind begets entropy, not a muscle's atrophy. Or as my granddad would say, use it or lose it. I'm Siobhan. My name's on the door. Yes, that's how you pronounce it. No, I don't know why. Do you need something? Need anything? Yeah, actually. She looks you up and down. You go out and about. I need radio parts. Someone used ours all up. Bring a bunch if you can. Huh. Where would I find radio parts again? Probably inside radios. She gives you a look, then shakes her head. And they call it common sense. She complains to the room in general. Just saying hi. Well, don't. She looks at her watch. I don't need some looky-loo barging in and interrupting my train of thought, alright? Bye. The name doesn't match up with the nameplate outside. It said her last name was Laverton, and here it's Lafferty. She continues to pace, but glances up at you. What do you want? I think I've got radio parts, don't I? I can't sell them to her. Also, the chemist's name doesn't match up either. So we look over here. Now, it could be a different chemist. His name is Anthony Harris, and this one's Anthony Hannon? Yeah. I'm not sure what that's all about. Large water bottle, iodine, and a large first aid kit. This harried woman waves you in without looking up. Sorry. I'm in the middle of this. It's going to be tricky too. Her sentence peters off. After several moments, you understand you've been forgotten. Are you Buela? She stares at you blankly. What an odd question. She points at the door. Came to see me, yes? Did my nameplate fall down again? Don't tell me the place is falling apart, she says with a somewhat aggrieved air. I know. And don't tell me it's too hot. I know that too. She picks listlessly at the papers on her desk, but evidently doesn't find what she's looking for. With a sigh, she returns her attention to you. Is there something I can help you with? What do you study here? Me. She seems amused. A Bremsstrahlung emission on a macro and micro level, focusing on changes to Rydberg cluster behavior in the past century. That sounds like... Gesture expansively. A lot. Got it right in one. She beams at you as if you're her prize student. That's why I can be a bit... She flaps a hand. You know. What have you got for trade? Pencils, paper, beef pie, and chicken pie. Bye. Take care, dear. She's leaning over several open notebooks, as well as theoretical physics textbooks. Occasionally, she utters an "oh" or an "ah," but otherwise the lab is oppressively silent. Alright, we've read this before. Buela seems a little quirky, eccentric. His smile shifts. Absent-minded, incompetent, dangerous. His gaze wanders around the settlement before landing on you again. She's quite harmless in my estimation. Whether her work has any merit, however, that's not my role to judge. Someone else certainly seems to think it does at any rate. Who's interested in Buela's work? That remains a mystery. His smile is tight-lipped. But someone sends her research materials and support. Someone with access to information that was supposedly lost. And money. Or something else valuable that they trade for the components she needs. Interesting. Okay, I have a theory. What do you think of Siobhan? Oh, he's suddenly quite flustered. I mean, renowned physicist, obviously. Absolutely dedicated to her work. Oh, absolutely. He nods to himself. No question. Not a great reader of anything but academic literature, though. More's the pity. Let's trade. We do have books to sell him. He does want books, so... guess we'll do that. Actually, this one. He taps one of the books you just traded him. I wonder if he'd be willing to help me out with something. Sure. Have you met Siobhan? He holds up a hand and closes his eyes. Not important. Anyway, I've been trying to get her to read something other than physics textbooks and hard sci-fi for years. But I think if she were to read something like this... He picks up the romance novel, turning it over and over in his hands. Oh, it actually mentions the book you sold him. He looks at the cover for From the Ashes, a song, more closely. Maybe not this one exactly, but something like it. I don't know. I might help her with her research to see the world a different way. To see value in things she overlooks. Why don't you talk to her yourself? I've tried. He looks away. She's not very tolerant of what she calls the soft sciences. That includes chemistry for some reason. He faces you squarely and looks you in the eye. Will you help me? Alright, I'll see what I can do. Thank you. He smiles relieved. So we got the book back and we keep the money? What a deal. It will give her a new perspective on life. I'm sure of it. But what's so great about Siobhan? She, well... A smile softens the wariness in his eyes. She's exceptional. Miles ahead of anyone in her field. Dreaming up machines that even people in the glory days couldn't have put together. She's like the light of civilization in human form. The hope. For once, he meets your gaze unashamed. The question shouldn't be why I think she's great, but why no one else does. And the answer, as always, is prosaic. People don't want to understand her. Are you in love with her? I believe so. I'd like to get your opinion on which novel to give Siobhan. I'm all ears, or eyes, whichever. How about From the Ashes a Song? It's a bit avant-garde. He oddly flips the pages of his book with one finger. And, well, sorry for spoilers. The heroine ends up alone. Not quite the message I want to send, if you follow. Actually, never mind. He shrugs. Sure. Alright, so he gave us the book back to give to her, but he doesn't want us to give that book to her. Let's look at the quest for that. Alright, so my theory regarding Wayla. They don't know where she's getting her funding, but she's getting it from someone who has knowledge from before. How Gorley kind of lines up with that. And then there's this. So it's possible Wayla's working with Cal Gorley as an informant inside Southern Cross, who's only kept at bay by this thing. Let's go play with it. I'm assuming it's dangerous if it's enough to scare Cal Gorley. Interesting. The device stands sentinel in the false halogen day. So halogen is a gas that sucks the oxygen out of the air. It's what they use on flight lines to put out fires. If you breathe it in, it's gonna, well, it'll probably kill you. I've heard of one guy that survived and it messed up his voice and his lungs for the rest of his life. Well, he's still alive. As far as I know. Very dangerous stuff. Okay, so I think we're safe to play with it as long as we don't press this. So, press the red button. Nothing happens. Alright, press the blue button. Nothing happens. Toggle the leftmost switch. Nothing happens. Toggle the middle switch. The machine hums, waiting further input. Toggle the rightmost switch. The buttons flash and the control panel resets. Turn the crank on the side of the control panel. The upper portion of the construction starts to tilt towards the gates of Southern Cross. It seems the crank is a low-tech targeting solution. Interesting. Alright, so we can press the middle switch, right? And that resets it. Rightmost switch. Alright, so now it's turning. That resets it. You hear a series of ascending tones as different parts of the machine begin to rotate into place. The top of the machine begins to slowly open, petal by petal, like some exotic flower. Point the device at the gates of Southern Cross. Machine shafts gives a series of heavy clunks before coming to rest. Alright, let's point the device back up at the sky. I don't know if this is a laser or some sort of radio wave emitter. I don't know what it's going to do. I have the feeling that if I shoot the gate with it, it's going to destroy the gate and leave this place open to being raided. That seems like a bad idea. Or if it's emits like a radio wave. Maybe it sends a signal out to raiders or other survivors, so it could be a good thing or a bad thing. No idea. So I'm going to point it back up at the sky. It takes a lot of effort to turn the crank, but eventually the device is upright once more. Its destructive potential pointed only at the blameless sky. Okay, so it's got to be a proper laser, right? It has destructive potential. Either way, we shouldn't be messing with it. Let's go do something else. I am curious what happens if you fire it, though, but it can't be anything good. Plus, Maddie's standing right next to the gate. Alright, let's go talk to Siobhan. We have the romance novel, though it's not the one we're supposed to give to her. At least according to... Actually, what books does he have? Maybe we have some we can buy from him. I don't think he had any romance novels, though. It was all, philosophy, and I think one to call a Tesla book. Yeah. But at the very least we can talk to her about it, and maybe tell her that Anthony likes her. Maybe we can skip the whole romance novel thing. He continues to pace, but glances up at you. What do you want? Yeah, I should really give Anthony a shot. He seems like a decent guy. Yeah, I'll definitely take the advice of a stranger on my non-existent love life. Good idea. Anthony would really like you to read this book he picked for you. She sighs. Hand it over. Actually, I have to come back. She gives you an aggrieved look. Fine. Alright, Anthony's in love with you. And? He waits impatiently for you to continue. And nothing. Just thought you should know. Okay? Bye. Turns back to her work. Alright. She does seem a little curt. But we are strangers butting into her life, so I understand. He's a little curt, but a regular-sized Siobhan. Alright, interesting place. Bunch of scientists, a giant laser in the middle of town. A potential laser. Alright, do you know where I could find radio parts for Siobhan? Run my stock dry, so let's see. I try Meriden or Corda. Ardath if you're desperate. He shakes his head. Don't be desperate. Alright, I'd like to book a room. We're at full health. We didn't have to rest. But I think it's always a good idea to stay at local taverns and stuff in games. Because it could be events that happen. Dragon Quest taught me to always rest at an inn if you find one. Alright, well I think that's it for Southern Cross. We're going to head to Corda next time. We got the medicine we need for Mick. But I'm still going to go to Corda with DJ in the party anyway. And possibly get more medicine? We'll see. But either way for now, thanks for watching, and hope to see you guys in the next one.